Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I've got a message for you guys, all on the topic of particularly intimate partnership, but this is going to work in any single one of your relationships that you deem to be, or you would love to be, an absolute evolution in your own growth journey. So to have, the kind of and the quality of relationships that ultimately inspire each party to grow, have room for each person's maximum growth and definitely fulfillment. So utilizing intimate partnership in particular as the greatest vehicle for our growth and our evolution and our expansion and our fulfillment, all of those great things. This one's going to be one for you guys, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys a major shift in perspective that I've had in my own personal relationships that I'm applying to my intimate partnership and friendships at the moment, which I'm finding is very new terrain, but it is definitely very growth inducing and definitely very intimacy deepening. All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how do we deepen the quality and depth of intimacy that we can experience with everybody in our lives. And, not just keep our connections up there on the surface level where we're not really getting to see into one another. We're not really getting to be all of who we are and share all of who we are with the people around us, and also experience all of who others are. Instead, most of us get kind of caught up in this realm of attachment rather than intimate depth. And I'm going to help you today. My hope for today's message is that it gets you more empowered to actually discern between true love and intimacy, and on the other side, attachment and ego protection. All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about, and that is exactly why today's message is your initiation into intimacy requires the shedding of ego protection for soul connection through the power of self-trust. Whole bunch of words. I'm going to definitely dive into what the hell I mean with today's topic. And I would absolutely love for any of you to share this message if you do find it of value. And also, I can't actually do it here. Oh yeah, I could probably do it here. No, I'll do it later. I'll give you guys a link to a free mini course that I'm creating for each and every one of you guys to help transform conflict into connection and deepen your connections. All right, so today, though, I want to talk to you guys about a new transition, a new perspective that I'm really moving into in my realm of intimate relationship, and all for the growth and expansion and of each individual in relationship, and also for ultimately accessing higher levels of growth and fulfillment than you could if you were outside of these sort of dynamics. All right, so that's what I'm going to be talking into with you guys today. But let's break it down what we're talking about today. So what are we talking about when we're referring to intimacy? So when I'm referring to intimacy, what I'm talking about is the ability to truly see into another person, right? Not through just your eyes, but actually into who they are and what's going on for them, and the allowance of other people to, come into you in terms of understanding and seeing and feeling and experiencing your internal world with them, right? On an emotional level, on a spiritual level, it's also on a physical and a mental level. It's in all areas of intelligence. But this is what I want to talk to you guys about in terms of what is intimacy in the realm that we're talking about it today. And, my absolute number one highest value in the world is intimate depth of connection and love. All right, that is everything that I do, is moving towards accessing a deeper level of my number one top value and priority in life. All right, and so that's why a lot of these messages are about our relationships, are about our relationship with self and with others, and intimate depth and getting out of just the surface level connections and truly showing up and being all of who you are with the world around you, starting with yourself, right? And so what I want to talk to you guys about is because we can talk about intimacy on any of the levels of development, right? But what we're pointing to is the depth, like the possibility, like your highest potential in the realm of intimate depth of connection with yourself and with those around you, all right? And so basically, on that journey to experience true intimacy, being able to share all of who you are with the outside world, with people closest to you, and being able to actually experience and see into others around you at that level of depth, all right, and appreciation and honoring of the individual, right? Basically, that journey ain't an easy, simple one, and we definitely have to battle a lot of our fears and our humanness along that journey. And so that's why I'm talking into the initiation into true intimacy, actually requiring a shedding of the ego protection. And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to swap that for a soul connection. And the journey in order to be able to do that, to be able to differentiate between what is my ego protection, which is connected to attachment in relationship, and what is soul connection, which is actually attached to or connected to love and oneness, right? And basically the vehicle to get us to discern between the two and choose soul connection and love and true intimacy over ego protection and staying limited based on fear-based attachments and an inability to actually see others and connect on a deeper level because we're so caught up in protecting our identity, our ego, and our fears. And basically the vehicle to get between the two and differentiate between the two is a deep self-trust. Now, let me bring in a bit of story and example. So recently in my life, and in particular in my intimate partnership, I was kind of at a crossroads where I awoke to a pattern of mine that I've been very incredibly black and white about throughout the years of me being a part of intimate partnerships. And basically, I was questioning something that I had previously set and forget. And basically, where that kind of pattern played out in the beginning was nobody had told me to do this. I had unconsciously made a decision that was very black and white in my intimate partnerships that I would not have male friends or connections, and definitely not connections to ex-partners, for the sake of, my intimate partnership. And my theory behind that, my intention behind that at the time was, trust is so important. I never ever want my partner to feel jealous. I don't want them to feel like our connection is under threat. I don't want any of that unnecessary drama or conflict. I want to, honor them, and I want to make them a priority and create a really safe, trusting connection with them, right? And so you can see that's got a beautiful, great intention behind it. And so that's what kind of led me to the point of, disconnecting from male friends, definitely ex-partners, like no chance I was ever going to communicate with them. And also the other element and how it played out was I actually didn't even allow myself to have a male client at the time, right? And again, I just want to put the caveat, nobody told me to do this. This was something I automatically chose to do based on a good intention, but very black and white, set and forget, and really thought at that point, I'm doing the best possible thing I could do as an intimate partner to someone else, right? That honestly, that's where my heart was. And I felt really strongly about that. And then basically, through my experiences in partnership, realizing how that pattern ended up becoming kind of destructive, right? Very limiting, and actually made me feel like I didn't have freedom in relationship. It made me feel like, I can either have this or this, but I can't have both, even if it would be healthy and conducive to my own growth and even my partner's growth and our relationship depth. And so I went through a stage of trying to navigate and reconcile, how can you have love and freedom, and a deep sense of trust no matter what, right? You don't have to cut yourself off in the world in order to be a trustworthy person, but the people around you know your intentions. You know your intentions. You know why you do what you do. You know the things that are in integrity with you, and you trust yourself to follow through with integrity or not, right? And basically, what I'd gotten to just more recently, and what I've been working through and now implementing in my own life, is realizing that set and forget, black and white, previously well-intentioned way of being in the world, and in particular in my intimate partnership, was actually had some other hidden meanings that I needed to question. And the reason why I decided to question it was because it didn't feel like it was working. Time and time again, right? Throughout my experiences in intimate partnership, it felt like it was more detrimental and costing of myself and my partner and the relationship than it was enhancing. And so I was forced to question this reality for myself again. And basically what I saw were the underlining kind of beliefs going on with somebody who's going to cut themselves off completely in an unhealthy, kind of toxic way, that even though it was well-intentioned can still be toxic, right? And very limiting. And I realized that if I trusted my own intentions, if I would never do anything to jeopardize my intimate partnership and that connection, and if I really trust myself on that, then why wouldn't I connect with people of the opposite sex who I can really establish great friendship with, that we can have healthy ways of enhancing each other's lives that have absolutely no conflict with my intimate partnership. In actual fact, would enhance it, because when we get really cut off and limited, we end up placing a lot of our burden for need meeting in our intimate partnership, and one person isn't here to serve your every need, right? It becomes too much and overwhelming and very detrimental to the quality of the connection, right? Because you're reliant on this other person to meet your every need, and they on you. And of course, you can't do that as just one single human being. We're not wired that way. We're community-focused people, right? And basically, you both end up very empty and diminished and unable to enhance each other's lives because you're barely scraping together your own, right? And so basically, when I made this realization that there'd be nothing wrong with that from my end, I asked myself, well, why wouldn't I have those connections then? And I realized that the underlying belief was my partner can't handle it. He won't be able to, he won't be able to handle it, right? He'll be too jealous, or he'll be too threatened, or he'll be too insecure. And I realized that I'd been so over-responsible for my previous partners, that that was a sign of me not trusting in them and not trusting in the connection that we were building and the strength of its foundation. And so when I recently more so realized this at a deeper level, I decided to go against the old pattern. Even though it was previously well-intentioned, I could now see it was a bit toxic, and it was actually costing the trust of the relationship, and also making the connections and intimate partnership quite limiting. And not for any healthy reason other than trying to mitigate the insecurities of others. I realized how much I was robbing both my partner and myself and our relationship of the possibility for real transformational growth, expansion, and a depth of intimacy that can only come when we courageously express our needs and our desires in a way that we know that they could create conflict, they could trigger insecurity, they could create judgment from the other person in defensiveness, but we have a level of courage in knowing why we do what we do, what's healthy, what's not healthy. We know we're in full integrity, we'd never jeopardize the connection, and in fact, we believe in our partner, we believe in the strength of our connection to be able to make a change and a transformation here and have this conversation. And so that's what I did. And basically, going through that kind of conversation, because I had the strength of trust within myself, I was able to uphold a really high standard for my trust in my partner, and also in the strength of our connection to be able to invite this previously, condemned way of being in intimate partnership. I was able to take a higher, newer perspective that was a more integrative approach to partnership that is expansive and never limiting to what is healthy and very conducive to growth and enhancement to the individual's lives in that. And basically, through that journey, and being able to have the courage to have that conversation, being able to hold the space for my partner's experience of that, and being that it was new for him as well, and then being able to take action steps that would allow me to have depth of connection with other people just for their humanness, not needing to protect myself or another from our insecurities of that being the opposite sex, and doubting our strength of our connection, and basically putting our egos above our soul connection. So being able to do that, I'm on the journey of it, right? I'm in the very beginning stages of that, but it is so far so amazing. Like the depth of connection that I'm creating with my partner, it far exceeds anything that I'd previously done, right? Because I'm being so transparent and trusting of the other person's growth opportunity. And you got to be willing to once you know what is truly healthy for you, once you know when you're in full integrity and you're proud of the human being that you are, and you know and trust that you do things for the health and the growth of yourself and all those that you love and care about for humanity, then basically you open up this whole new door of being able to hold space for another person to have their own individual experience with that without you trying to control or manipulate it, right? Because my previous self wanted to mitigate any sort of challenge or conflict in the face of a partner's potential insecurity or jealousy, right? And not trust them enough or the strength of our connection enough to be able to do what was healthy for me, knowing full well my intentions, and instead now being able to make those decisions, be so open and transparent, but now able to open that space and them have whatever experience they have without attachment to the outcome, and even a willingness to leave if that person is not going to be able to meet you on that particular growth journey, and you know in your heart of hearts that it's healthy and expansive for both yourself and an opportunity for them and the relationship to deepen its intimacy, then basically that's the journey that I've been going on, and that's what we really need to be able to do. And it's this whole conversation around the difference between what is love and soul connection versus attachment and our ego protection. And, the more limiting and controlling we are of the people that we supposedly love, in actual fact, it points to more of the attachment that our egos have to that person staying permanent, right? Staying the same, right? And even if it would be that you are limiting their growth and their potential. And that's what most of our relationships are. I got to say, I think each and every one of my relationships has had a mixture of both love and attachment. But the more I've grown and evolved, and more so meeting my own needs, and more so truly loving who I am, basically, instead of, judging and being caught in an ego, basically that has allowed me to open up this whole new realm of intimate connection and courage and opportunity for all those who are in relationship with me to, have an opportunity to grow and expand in their most healthy and freeing and fulfilling ways as well. All right. So the reason why I really want to talk to you guys about this is because I feel like this is an evolution to our intimate partnerships. And basically that evolution is, loving and trusting yourself so deeply that you can genuinely encourage and delight in anything and everything that would lead to the healthy expansion of your partner and vice versa, without the projection of your own unique growth pathway onto theirs, right? Your own way of being and going through the world projected onto them, all right? And I have so much love, right, for each and every one of us going through and having the courage to enter intimate relationship and navigate that realm, because it's, it is the most painful, but it is the most pleasurable. It is what I believe the greatest vehicle for our potential to be accessed, because it's the most challenging, right? It's the most risk-taking, and basically we need to utilize the quality of our relationship, the standards of our relationship, to be one in which it does not limit anything that is healthy for yourself or for the other person. And in fact, it is always encouraging and, like I said, delighting in anything and everything that has the potential for healthy growth and expansion for each of those individuals, without projecting our own experience onto the other one. It's about honoring yourself as an individual, honoring the other as an individual, and entering a loving agreement with one another to expand and enhance each other's lives, even when, and especially if, it is triggering to the other person, making sure that it's absolutely healthy. All right, there's a difference between things that trigger you that are healthy and growth inducing versus things that trigger you that are toxic and just not in alignment with the quality of relationship that you want to experience. All right, so that's up to you as an individual to really discern through experience for yourself. And just wanted to share this little piece of my own growth journey with you guys in the hope that it helps you to really look at your relationships, not just your intimate relationship, but particularly your intimate relationship, and look at the quality of it, look at how much of it is limiting based on fears and insecurities and ego protection and attachment versus really expansive, connected to soul connection, right? Oneness, the shared purpose that we all have to expand and evolve humanity. And we can't do that by limiting or trying to control other people or ourselves. We need to have a level and depth of connection, of intimacy within our own selves, and integrity, and know why we do what we do, and basically, have that willingness to go it alone if we don't have people around us who are willing to grow with us in that realm, and also have kindness and compassion and open space holding for those who are willing to come on that growth journey with us, and know that we can go much further together in partnership with trustworthy individuals who share our same perspectives, or not just perspective, but I should say our vision, because we all have different perspectives and that's how we learn from one another. But we really need to establish that. And if you do not establish a depth of intimate connection within yourself, really knowing who it is that you are, why you do what you do, and self-loving actions to grow and become your absolute best self and serve a meaningful purpose in this world, if you don't do that, you will settle for attachment and ego protective connections that are very limiting to the soul, right? And instead, we want to connect with that intimate connection within and expect and raise the standard for all other connections outside of us to that level, and trust in their ability as a human being to grow and expand with the opportunity that you may provide them, and vice versa. All right, that might feel uncomfortable because it is, right? But if you have and hold a higher vision for the quality of connection that you wish to experience and the person that you wish to become and continue to become, then it'll be enough to pull you through those challenges. And there's definitely light on the other side, and you'll be forever grateful for your past self for having the courage to commit to a higher standard for your future well-being. All right. Definitely want to connect with each and every one of you guys. I've been on a bit of a rant today, but I hope that it was of value to you guys, and I'd love to hear from you. So have you got any questions or comments or words of wisdom that you'd love to contribute to the conversation today? I'd absolutely love to connect with you guys. So let's see. I have got Bill in the house. Hello to you, my friend. And Damien. Hey, Vanessa. I hope you're doing well. Haven't been able to catch your lives for a while now. Missed you. Missed you too, Damien. So good to see you back, my friend. And I hope today's message has definitely served you. And Mokbil, I'm doing really well. Hope you are as well. And Rabi, hello to you. And Gord, hello to you. I'm doing amazingly well. Hope you are as well. And Jose, yay. Hello, Vanessa. Talking about drama, do you think it's healthy for soul and mind to cut out with past relationships that lead nowhere? I feel sometimes my ego tells me that it is so selfish to let go of people in my life that in certain times were real connection, but I don't want to feel guilty being selective and putting my priorities first. Is not pride, I promise. It's not pride, I promise. But sometimes when you try new relationships, suddenly you find that they are going to the city of nowhere. My own expectations grow personal deceptions. Love this, Jose. Like usual, you are absolutely so appreciated, my friend. I'm so excited when I get to hear your experiences and see your questions. I really appreciate you guys when you do that to contribute to the conversation. And it's not just me talking at you, but we're actually having a really meaningful conversation. So thank you again, Jose. And for all of you guys who always contribute and show up, I so appreciate each and every one of you. And what I would say is this is a beautiful conversation, right? So I don't believe that the success of any or the health of any relationship is its time frame in life, right? It lasting a lifetime. To me, I really do believe that if you are somebody particularly who is fully committed to your own expansion and self-actualization, what you're going to find is you're going to outgrow or grow in different directions to people that you've had in your life that maybe at one point, like you said, were a really meaningful connection to you. But, like for whatever reasons, as time goes on and growth happens, you're shifting and evolving. Like who you are today is not who you were a year ago, certainly not who you were 10 years ago. And so what we need to ask ourselves is, are the people around us growing with us, enhancing our lives, expanding with us, even if it doesn't have to be on the exact same path, but, are we able to enhance each other's lives? Or is it more kind of, doesn't really change anything? It's just kind of whatever, mediocre, or doesn't really have an impact, or it's actually detrimental, right? And we feel limited in those connections. And what I'm hearing from what you're saying there, Jose, it's not your pride, but you're feeling as though those connections have served their purpose. You can be grateful for them. You can take the memories and all the great wisdom that you might have learned from those connections, but don't feel guilty about moving on beyond them. There's not many people in my life who have lasted the test of time, but I've definitely can reflect back to every single relationship in every realm I've ever had, and I can find gratitude for it. All right, and I can see how it served me in terms of lessons, in terms of memories and experiences, in terms of growth, in terms of who I was in those particular points in my existence. And I can definitely not feel guilty about them no longer being in my life. Just recently, however, I had ended a relationship, a friendship with somebody and really had no intentions whatsoever as to invite them back into my life. And literally 3 years have passed. And this person has tried to reach out to me a few times, and the relationship ended in I decided to end it because it wasn't healthy for myself or for the other person. All right. It felt like it was more detrimental than enhancing to either one of our lives. Right. And so I felt like the healthiest thing to do was cut all ties with that. And I've actually just recently invited that relationship back because of my own growth, because of the relationship dynamics that I'm looking to deepen in an intimate level, and I'm finding that bringing that relationship back into my life is very new for me. I've always been somebody, you're out, you know. I'm very black and white about that. And a number of different reasons have allowed me to get to this place of being more integrative and seeing, would it enhance my life? Could it enhance their life? Could it enhance the other areas of my life? And if those are yeses, then that might be good, right? But if they're no's, then that's okay, you know. Like, in actual fact, I commend each and every one of us for being able to end relationships that are no longer serving you, because if they're not serving you, they're not serving them. All right, so just know that you can't ever feel guilty. If it's not healthy for you, it's certainly not healthy for them. All right, so I really appreciate the question and everything that you're sharing there, Jose, and I definitely hope that my words there were of value to you, and I honor the journey that you are on. And yeah, no looking back, keep looking forward, but we can always reflect into the past. Be grateful, because one of my favorite mentors that I talk about all the time, Dr. John Demartini, he would say, you know, anything that you can't be thankful for is baggage, and anything that you can be thankful for is fuel. All right, so if you're leaving relationships with baggage, right, you can't be grateful, can't be thankful, you're still hurt, you're still wounded, there's work that you need to do. You can't just run away. But if you can be truly grateful and thankful and take the wisdom and see how it's impacted you in a positive way, even if that might be just growth inducing, then basically you are on your way to healthy leaving relationships behind. All right, hope that was of value. And Jose, great, thank you, great to hear that, my friend. And Eric's here as well. Hello to you. Great to see each and every one of you guys. I hope those of you who are tuning in right now do catch a recording, get a ton of value from today's message. Because I am about to sign off, I've been on this massive rant with you guys, which I hope has empowered you to look at your intimate relationships, to see, you know, really be honest with yourself. How much is connected to ego protection and attachment and limiting of one another and yourself, based on trying to feel safe and secure, and, you know, mitigate your insecurities, versus a soul deepening connection where, you know, you basically, you know, you absolutely honor and delight in anything and everything that is healthy for each of you as individuals to experience in your life, you know, and you don't allow your ego to get in the way to limit or control anybody else or even yourself, right? Like what my story kind of articulated for you guys. So I hope that's of value, and I want to leave you with the reminder each and every day to go out there and honor your own authenticity, deepen your intimacy. That's what today's message is all about, and definitely contribute your unique gifts meaningfully and purposefully. All right, that's it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for showing up live today. You are so appreciated, and I cannot wait to see you guys very, very soon. And and I will put a link for the free mini course that I'm creating for you guys on transforming conflict into connection, and I look forward to delivering that for you guys very, very soon. All right, much love, and I'll see you soon.